So what is coaching? And we're gonna start with that. So I looked up the definition of coaching, and it takes us back to the Oxford Dictionary of 1922. And it really has to do with the coach, which is a horse-driven carriage, horse-drawn carriage. And you have a coach person sitting in there, and a passenger will be, in today's world, the coachee, the client. Okay? So that's where the terminology of coaching comes from. Let's look at one of the definitions here. And I picked leadership coaching for one very simple reason. If we're going to affect change in organizations, we need the leaders to be involved. So there's a lot of leadership coaching that needs to take on. So basically, it's assisting top executives, managers, and other leaders to perform, right? To learn, to stay healthy and balanced, and effectively guide their teams to successfully reach desired goals and exceed individual and organizational expectations. The key word here is guide. It's like the coach person. They're bringing them to a destination. The destination is whatever change they want to accomplish. So I'd like you to take a minute. What would you look for in coaches that you hire or that you work with to support organizational change? So get in your groups as you are and just discuss for about a minute what are some of the qualities you'd be looking for in such a coach. All right, so let's reconvene. Who would like to share some of the qualities that you'd find in a coach that you want to hire for organizational cultural change? What kind of coaches are we looking for? Anybody would like to venture? Where? Oh, yes. Well, sorry, say that again. Engaging, building rapport, and experience. Great. All right. Anybody else? Yes?
Genuine and trustworthy.
Genuine and trustworthy. So important. Okay. And then we're going to dig into how we get to be genuine and how do we build rapport. Great stuff. So here are some of the ingredients or qualities we find in great coaches. One is compassion. So when you look at the definition of compassion, it's loving together, suffering together. Okay? And it's very different from empathy. I'll give you an example. So you've got your mother or a loved one who's hospitalized. And a dear friend of yours approaches you and you tell them, you know, what you're going through. And they feel empathy for you, right? And they listen to you. And they had the same issues with their mom, and they can relate to what you're saying. That's empathy. Compassion would be for your friend to say, you know what? Let me cook a few meals for you. Have the kids over. Bring the kids over, right? That's compassion. It's walking with the other person. So it goes beyond understanding. It goes beyond listening. Very, very important distinction. Then we have trust. Actually, the 4 pillars of engagements go something like this: trust, respect, empowerment, and appreciation. So if you want to engage your employees, these are the 4 things we need to do. If you want to have a long-lasting relationship, this is the 4 things you need to do. And if one of them is missing, like trust, it ain't going to work as a relationship, right? What is trust about? Us psychologists like to say that trust is about feeling safe. When we don't trust, we don't feel safe, right? So in a coach-coachee relationship, how can the person open up if they're not feeling safe? So very important. Insight is definitely an important ingredient for coaching. It's listening deeply for one purpose, to clarify what we're hearing, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So during change, one of the key things a coach does is uncover what the resistance is about, right? For those of you who didn't, let's say, and I don't know who didn't, or I think most of you did the hugging exercise. But let's assume those who didn't. What was the resistance about? If I was a coach coaching them, I'd like to get into that and provide them insight. That could help them. Because let's say hugging was something that the organization wanted to introduce. Okay? This is important. This is how we're going to create consumer experience. Okay? We've lived it for a few minutes, and we saw how difficult that was. Honesty is the other one. Honesty is important. So I'm coaching my first day at a dealer in northern Quebec, about 120, 130 employees. So I'm greeted by the dealer principal, to whom I send the agenda of the 2 days I spend there, because when I go there, when I do this kind of coaching, I spend 2 days in the organization, every 6 to 8 weeks. So I go there, and we had already agreed to the agenda. And lo and behold, 10 o'clock meeting, after I debriefed with him what we were going to do, he said, well, I need to let the people know that there's a meeting at 10. These are all the managers. I said, tell me more. He said, well, I've got to go tell them, and I've got to kind of pull them out of the job they're doing. I said, so he didn't send the agenda ahead of time. He said, no, I kind of forgot. Okay. Now, here's a dealer principal who wants to increase employee engagement, who wants to walk the talk of trust and respect. That was the first meeting I had with him, and we had dinner at the end of the day, and I said, I want you to think about something. Let's discuss something here. I understand you want to walk the talk about respect, and you want to exhibit respect to your people. How are you doing this when you're pulling them out at the last minute to drop everything they're doing and their staff to come attend the meeting? He said, Hani, say no more. Okay? So honesty as a coach is very, very important, or else we don't go anywhere. Well, focus is a key thing, because if we're on that carriage and we have a clear destination we want to get to, the role of the coach is to get you there. And the role of the coach is, once you derail and you're not doing the things you've committed to do, is to call you out on it so that you can do it and move forward towards the goal.